Chad on his screen says that feel and CRT monitors are still superior to your G-Sync 1440p 144 LCD. I actually had 240, but okay. BRB going to the nearest homeless shelter to find a crusty old monitor. By the way, this is Digital Foundry. They are PC experts.
Hey everyone, so what's going on here? This is all a bit different, isn't it? Well, something strange is happening at Digital Foundry. Last week, John showed us his retro PC attached to a CRT monitor. And well, things kind of snowballed from there. So here's the thing. CRT technology, decades in the making, it evolved so much over so many years. And well, at the turn of the millennium, things just sort of stopped. We moved on to flat panels. And based on what John has seen with his experiments, and based on what I'm seeing right here with this monitor, the legendary Sony FW900, I think maybe we've missed something here. We've kind of turned our back on what is an exceptional technology for gamers. So, FW900 here, it's a progressive scan, high definition CRT monitor, 24 inches there on the diagonal. And well, the picture quality that you get with it is absolutely amazing. And well, here's the thing. A couple of days ago, I was talking with John about the new control patch, and we were discussing how the performance has improved in the new patch. But the conversation quickly veered to just how amazing control looks on a CRT monitor. And here's the thing, you don't need massively high resolutions to get an incredible picture. And that means that we can actually run the game fully maxed on RTX technology, use all of those features and still get a phenomenal image with phenomenal motion resolution quality that far exceeds even a 4K OLED. So what I'm going to do here is something a little different.
But the FPS is still going to be capped to like 60, is it not?
Show you the majesty of the FW900 at work, and you know, get some shots of how this vintage 2030 monitor looks, the strengths and the weaknesses. Let's just say that it's rather large in terms of its depth. And yes, I'm going to go back to that conversation I had with John during our
the human eye can only see 480.
All of this stuff,
it can do 120. Oh really?
But it's here for you now, so enjoy.
Well,
I was kind of surprised to see.
Then you'll be at a disadvantage in competitive games.
It's the version that you can't really afford to get wrong. It's the one with by far the biggest install base. So that would be my target platform. So it's surprising that it shipped in that state.
There's a little bit more though for us to talk about, though.
Yeah, because this is completely non-patch related, and it's just indulging what is swiftly becoming a bit of a fetish.
I mean, they play Smash on this shit competitively, but then both people are playing under the same circumstances, you know. But anything that's a PC game online, you just put yourself at a disadvantage, you know, with not having high refresh rate.
Right. It's a Sony Trinitron. It's like 16 years old.
Not necessarily. There are other factors than refresh rate where CRT wins.
On that. And then I thought, you know what?
Like what?
To my main
in a let's say Counter-Strike.
There were some revelations there. So
amazing.
I will say this. So these monitors, they're pretty old now, right? I've been
input lag and response time.
Couple days here.
Yeah, but
I feel like somehow
is that different? Is that difference? Does it actually make a difference in practice?
Absolute best. These things support very high refresh rates.
Can you tell a difference?
PCs back when CRTs were in use, really
in terms of input lag with this monitor and a flat screen?
Now you can. And because of the way CRTs handle resolutions, you can also lower.
I don't know if you have.
I will say on this monitor, playing a game at something like 1280 by 960.
Our monitors have 1 millisecond.
My 4K LCD, it just does. It's cleaner, smoother, nicer. There's no motion blur, and so that's why I decided let's load up Control on there. And so with Control, I decided to just play it at 1024 by 768. That's under 720p. That seems like that would be an awful resolution, but it looks gorgeous on a CRT. And as a result, I was able to run it at 120 frames per second which now was locked, so it was very, very stable. And I was able to max out all of the ray tracing features. So full ray traced, 120 frames per second on a CRT with perfect motion, no LCD blur at all. This is just about the smoothest thing you could possibly lay eyes on. I will say high refresh rate on a CRT looks better than every single LCD ever made, period, in motion. And I stand by that. I don't care if you're using black frame insertion or any sort of like ultra low motion blur. It doesn't match up. I long suspected this, but it's absolutely 100% true. If you've not seen a CRT in a while, well, I mean, I would say go look at it, but at the same time, if you do, you might not be able to go back to your LCD.
Which is the problem, because I saw what you've been doing with...
What resolution is this
and
right now on the screen?
So I spent considerably more than €10 on the legendary Sony Trinitron FW900,
1920 1200. Oh.
CRT monitor. It can handle resolutions up to, I believe, 2560 by 1600.
Yeah, so higher than 1440p.
Higher than 1440p, and you can go lower and run at extreme refresh rates. And the footage you've been seeing here has been controlled on my system with a 2080 Ti running at the specs you see on the screen now. And I agree with you that we're going to have to do a separate video on this, but control just looks amazing on this screen, and everything does.
Everything does. It's revelatory.
And the point is that there's been a rush towards higher resolutions, 4K and whatnot. But sample and hold, which is the way LCDs work, is such that you lose motion resolution to the point where it can go down to like 400 lines, which CRT doesn't do that.
Yeah, and over the years, LCD manufacturers have attempted to offset this, especially gaming PC monitors. They've got ultra high refresh rates.
So they're telling me that I should get
reduced blur.
a fucking CRT monitor, huh?
Thinking, wow, they're actually getting close to CRT quality. It looks really good, but it's not. If you go back, you really see that no, we're still a long way away from actually matching that. You just like, even if you're playing,
this is exactly like autofile retards. Go on eBay, this shit costs like $2,000 used, so because they paid a lot of money, it's good.
Right in front of something, you'll see it big time. And again, even using black frame insertion and other similar techniques, it gets so much closer, but it's still not.
I still don't think that this monitor has an advantage
and not only that,
in online multiplayer shooters. It doesn't matter at all when you're playing a single player game like this. Like
if you're not at that resolution, you're going to have upscale blur. This is the only reason why when we talk about resolution, when we say, oh, 900p on a 1080p screen doesn't look great, the only reason you would ever say that is because you're displaying 900p upscale to 1080p on a panel with that native resolution or higher.
And then when it moves...
And it moves and it blurs.
Why? So because 240 fucking hertz has an advantage over 140, and every pro can feel it when they play FPS games.
You can display any low resolution. You can put 640 by 480 on there. You're going to get scan lines, but it's going to look good. And it's just this ability to display all these different resolutions where they all look great while eliminating all motion blur with excellent black levels. It's just, I can't believe how much we've lost by moving to LCD.
Yeah.
But you're not a pro. I'm a pro. I can feel the difference when I play 240 and 142.
CRT, you can actually pour it back into features and still get an image that looks very well. It's going to be subjective, but it does hold up against LCD spectacularly so.
Exactly. You don't need 4K when you're running a CRT. You just don't, and you can pour that right back into all those.
Yeah, I never played 4K. I don't care about 4K
at insane frame rates. No problem. It just looked unbelievable on there, and I'm getting excited because it's one of those things where I knew it was different, but I didn't realize. I mean, I've been playing on CRT televisions for a long time, but going back to this monitor, and it's a revelation.
1080p is optimal in most scenarios. No, I don't think that matters too much. 1080p.
Yeah. We could go.
I think that's a preference thing. I do think the frequency matters.
Oh boy.
The 1080p. A lot of people played on a lower resolution in Counter-Strike, even though 1080p existed.
So this thing has got a
I think it's just a preference thing, what you're used to.
So it's
And there were some other
basically
advantages as well to not doing 1080p.
How about that 45-inch?
Not just like
they sold back in the day that
because you're
weighs,
used to the lower one,
440
but
pounds or over
some other
200
reasons to
kilograms.
do it. I forgot exactly what it was. It was
a
in
monster.
1.6,
amazing.
not in
Awesome. I
CSGO.
think the point is though that you know,
I think some people still do it in CSGO. Actually, now that I think about it, but
features in order to
bigger
decent
models.
resolutions. But I'm
Yeah,
assuming you
Get
have
Right
been
still
confronted
plays
with
on
that next as well.
1024
I maxed
times
it out.
768, I think.
1024
Oh,
by
really?
768, like I said.
Yeah.
My PC was just
I knew that some people still did it
blasting through it, no
in
problem.
CSGO, but a lot of people did it
This area
in
also really
1.6.
helps
Yes.
CRTs.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, we're spoiling a future video here.
Yeah. I will say though, with Control specifically, I noticed some of the techniques they use for rendering with the AA and the blur and the TAA, all of that stuff
640
makes a lot of
times
sense on this,
480 was
but
popular,
suddenly
yeah.
You feel like you don't really need it on a CRT
800
anymore.
times 600 was
I've noticed
like
this a lot with a lot of
the
these
standard, I
post
feel
effects.
like, for like
They're very
even
much
like
designed
known
to
pro
improve
people
image on a
playing
flat
that
panel,
shit.
but it's not as necessary on a tube. But we'll talk more about this in the future.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, we've just spoiled the entire future video, but let's go with it.
You can edit some.
Okay,
Yeah,
look,
I
let's
don't
wrap
know.
this one up.
So there you go, Control running on.
I feel like these are not the players who enjoy a good online multiplayer shooter. These are some serious boomers that enjoy their single player games. So I don't think they and even if they did play those games, it's no chance that they are at a level where they can actually tell a difference or perform differently with different frequencies. Yeah, I mean, it looks good and all, honestly.
Welcome to Uganda.
But I don't think. If you understood response time better, you'd agree. There isn't a monitor on the market that has low enough response time to support 240 Hz. Yeah, but it still supports more than 140, does it not? Even if it's not the full 240, right? There's still it still gives you better performance. Because you can tell a difference, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I'm not a tech god, I'm just a god gamer. I'm just a god gamer, boys. That's all there is to it. Maybe I can't pinpoint the difference, but I can feel a difference, you know. I'm a doctor with the 1 ear.